Leslie Thomas from Swim Art. We run open water swims in San Francisco Bay. This video today is about sighting. We're going to teach you all the skills you need to know to navigate well in the open water. First, most important thing to know about swimming in the open water is how to swim in a straight line. Most people have trouble because they drift to the left or drift to the right. So it's really simple. The way to swim in a straight line is to make sure your arms are always extended straight out from your shoulder. It's when one arm goes wider or one arm cuts over that people run into trouble and start drifting. So I'm going to show you how not to swim in a straight line, what it looks like when you drift, and then I'm going to show you how to swim a perfect straight line. So I talked about swimming in a straight line being the most important thing for open water swimming. Whether or not you can swim in a straight line, it's really important every now and then to look at where you're going and make sure you're headed in the direction that you're trying to go. So the skill to do that is called sighting. And that just means picking up your head every now and then, looking straight forward. And it's almost like taking a snapshot of what's in front of you. So it's a really quick look. You put your head back down, and then you think about what it is that you just saw. And if what you just saw is where you're headed, wanting to go, then you're doing the right thing. If you saw something different from where you were trying to go, then you're going to have to reposition your body. The way to lift your head when you sight is to just sneak your goggles out of the water. The more you lift your head up, the more your hips sink, and the more you're going to slow down. So the smaller distance you can lift your head, the more momentum you're going to carry through the sighting. Incorporate the sighting into the strokes. The one I just did is separating the sighting from the breath. So in one arm cycle you would sight, then your head would come back down in the water, and on a separate arm cycle you would breathe to the side. So the second way to incorporate the sighting is in one arm cycle to lift the head to sight and then fall into the breath. So it's one seamless movement, sight and then fall to breathe. And this is the one I use because I breathe every 2 strokes. And I just find it works well to lift the head and then sort of collapse into the breath. It doesn't take a lot of effort. This is the way not to incorporate the sighting into your strokes. By breathing first and then moving the head to the sighting position takes a lot of effort. And it's also very confusing. You're not quite sure what exactly you saw. So I would definitely suggest that you always sight first and then breathe. Another important consideration in sighting is what to sight on. And I think it's best to sight on something that's really high up and something that's really big. So for example, we're here in Aquatic Park in San Francisco. We're going to swim to the white boat that has the blue trim and the little red buoy on it. Right now there's a little chop in the water, so that boat is going to be a little hard to see. So I would rather sight on something that's bigger. So what I see right now is that boat is perfectly lined up with a second tower of the apartment building. It's also lined up with the very right end of that white deco building. So as I swim to that boat, I'm going to keep my eye on the left tower of the apartment building. And that should take me straight to that boat. And it's much easier to see than the boat itself. How often you sight depends on a couple different things. Depends on how straight a line you can swim. If you're swimming a pretty straight line, you can get away with sighting less frequently. If you're not so good at swimming a straight line, then you need to sight more often. Keep in mind that the more you sight, the more you're throwing your body position out of whack and potentially slowing yourself down. So ideally you're going to sight infrequently. But you have to balance the change in body position with going off course. And that's what makes open water swimming a little tricky and strategic. When the water gets choppier and choppier, the sighting gets a little harder. And as the waves get bigger, you are going to have to lift your head higher and higher. And you may have to sight more often too. There are going to be times when you lift your head and all you see is a big wall of water in front of you. So when that happens, you have to sight again on the next arm cycle and keep sighting until you get a clear view. So sighting in choppy water is a little bit different.